one thing that I would really focus on is pronunciation and learning the pronunciation rules in Swedish. There are about 7 or 8 rules. And for example, for my students, do them in first 2 classes. And I tell them, once you master this, we can continue. Because you're gonna keep making mistakes. Sometimes they are silly mistakes, sometimes they're like different meaning that's not so good, and you end up saying I love to eat glass instead of I like to eat ice cream, for example, and people are like, I don't think that's right actually. So I would say pronunciation rules, definitely. I would also say, of course, like with any language, to try and find something in Swedish that you like. If you like podcasts, find a podcast in Swedish that you like. If you like YouTube videos, you like makeup, you like cooking, let's find you at least one channel that does that so you can be surrounded by language. You love rock music, let's find you recommendations for rock music in Swedish. There is, surprisingly.
I would assume so. They have a lot of bangers. Like Sweden is very known for a lot of very good music. So I would assume that they have kind of like their toes into every genre.
Absolutely. There is everything for everyone. So from hip hop to any sort of like folk music, even whatever you want. So I would say definitely find something that you like. And of course, be consistent. And I would also recommend to use the dictionary. So I mentioned in the beginning about the and et words, plurals, and so on. So dictionary in the beginning for the rest of your life kind of is going to be your best friend in Swedish. So never, I always say that to my student, just don't stress and try to be like, oh my god, I can't remember this is n or this is et or this is plural. Just check. We are in, modern era. Dictionaries are now online as well. Of course, physical copy is great, but we can check everything. So approaching the language, relaxed and with the sense like, hey, I can find a solution to everything. It's gonna be okay, is also a mindset that we should adapt when we start. So I would definitely say all of that, but really in the beginning, pronunciation rules, super important, and the basics of grammar as well, and just surrounding yourself with as much as Swedish as you can if you are not already there, of course.
I want to add a little bit of a very niche Michele fun fact / lore about specifically grammar books, because this is the only time in my lifetime that I will ever get to talk about this. So recently, my family started digging stuff that our ancestor did, and we found out that one of our old ancestor was a writer, or like he was doing a lot of books in the early 1800s or something, I think. And we found out that you mentioned that, all of the grammar books are in Swedish. Well, you're wrong, because one of my ancestors did one of the first Swedish grammar books in Italian, but old Italian. So it doesn't even make sense.
So we need to learn Italian basically first.
Basically, yeah. If you're interested in learning old Italian books for a decrepit version of a Swedish grammar book that is completely outdated at this point, because most of the text is basically unreadable. It's not in modern Italian. Yeah, you can. It's the most out there fun fact, and I really wanted to say it, even though it doesn't not like fit in that well in the episode, but I wanted to share it because
that's crazy.
It's time in my lifetime that I will get to talk about this, because I don't know anybody else in my entire family that was even remotely interested in Sweden. So
you have to carry on the legacy. That has to be your next step, I think.
Okay, I'm gonna add an extra fun fact on that. I did technically I did have a Swedish obsession with the YouTubers. I forced my family to go to Sweden because I loved a lot of Swedish YouTubers, and it was very funny because I was like 12. So it was like the people were like, oh, where do you want to go for like vacation? Oh, you want to go to Disneyland? Oh, you want to go to like the beach? I want to go to Sweden. And everybody's like, what the hell are you talking about?
Did you do it?
Yes, I just went to Stockholm, not that far off. I really liked it, except Pizza Hut. I had Pizza Hut there and it was terrible. But it's not Swedish, so I don't.
For a 12-year-old.
Yeah, it's the first time that I tried Italian food in a foreign land. So it was not good. But yeah.
It's like a touchy subject, I would say.
Yes, unfortunately, the stereotypes are real from my side about the fat side of the food, but also it's my fault for choosing it. But again, I'm digressing. But yes, I did went to Sweden once, and I really liked it. Taking boats as a bus, that's cool. That's very cool. I never done it before, and it was awesome. And I went to a theme park, completely unrelated, but it was really fun. So maybe I should relearn Swedish. Maybe I should just sit down, find a tutor, book some lessons.
I know somebody,
Yes.
for example. So let's talk
I'm
a bit
here.
about how you are teaching, what your teaching day looks like. So you are teaching 100% online now. How was the transition for you? And
Oh.
let's do that
Technical
again.
difficulties in the connected by language. I'm gonna keep that in.
That's fine. Yeah, how did that transition happen for you? And yeah, how is it now for you teaching online 100%?
It was interesting. Of course, you can guess when it started being 100% online. So during the COVID period. Before that, of course, I was before that a student, but I was still working in a few private schools, or I was volunteering in some institutions as English and Swedish teacher. And then when obviously COVID came, then I transitioned completely online. Now I cannot imagine myself teaching Swedish in person. Actually, I would like to try it again, but it seems so unreal because I have so much material, so many resources, so many things on this little laptop here that I just cannot imagine not being able to say, oh, let me share my screen with you guys. Let's look at this. But yeah, online is really cool. Of course, first of all, because I am connected to people from all over the world. So of course, even in Serbia, it's like, oh, what if I was teaching in person? I would just be teaching people in Nova Varoš. Do you think anyone knows Swedish here? No, absolutely no one. So yeah, so I get to work with a lot of people from all over Serbia, of course, and the Balkan region. We work all day, in the morning, in the evening, in the afternoon, because it's online. It gets to be mega flexible, of course. It gets to be different duration, gets to be on different topics. Sometimes it's a typical course, sometimes it's a conversational course, sometimes it's preparing students for exams at university, for licenses, preparing interviews. So it really unlocked, online teaching really unlocked a whole new world to me, basically.
And it's interesting that you mentioned that a lot of your students are from the Balkan region, because this is something that I always like to ask people that have this many connections to a lot of people that you share languages with. Like, how does sharing a native language with your students that are from the Balkan shape the way that you teach Swedish in the first place?
It creates a more personal style in teaching, I would say. So, of course, a lot of concepts that are unknown to them or foreign to them are explained much easier when we share language, right? And they also feel more comfortable because, like, hey, this person who is from the same or similar country as me, who speaks the same or similar language as me, has actually learned this language. So maybe I can do it as well, of course. So it's a motivation at the same time. And I feel like it's definitely a little bit easier to explain things, to connect, culturally, to laugh about the same things or something that we find weird in Swedish or so on. So we kind of have the same understanding of that concept. It's a really nice thing to be able to help people from your region learn this language.
And you also teach Swedish in English to people from other parts of the world. So how different does that feel in terms of language juggling, but maybe also how easily you build trust and connection with those people?
Yes, that was a challenge, absolutely. And I'm so happy that I did not have any classes today of teaching Swedish and English, because now I would not be able to talk anymore, I think. Or I would start just talking in Swedish. It can be a little bit difficult juggling, of course, because it's just an insane concept teaching my third language and my second foreign language. So sometimes I'm proud of myself. I'm like, wow, you're actually doing this. But I would say the trust is there. Of course, cultural differences come and go. There are some things that we clash over some views, for example, but it's also a really nice way to connect with people all over the globe and to learn more about their culture and then maybe connect it to mine or Swedish. So I don't know, I was just talking yesterday with my student from Brazil, actually. We were talking about holidays, we were sharing our experiences. She was showing me some candies that they eat there in her city and so on. So it's a really nice thing. And I think even with them, I am able to form a really nice, almost friend like bond because most of my students, that's one of my greatest achievements, I would say. Most of my students come and they stay at least 1 or 2 years, sometimes even longer, studying the language with me. So by the end, some of them are really like my friends, and we are in contact, checking on each other. It's like, oh, a baby came, or oh, you moved apartments, or you got married, and so on. So it's really nice, and doesn't even have to be like from the Balkan region, but also with my students from other countries and other continents, actually. So it's a really cool thing.
And you can almost say that they're connected by language.
Exactly.
They go with you to say that. No? Tough crowd. Tough crowd. But no, it's a very beautiful experience because it's just one of the wonders of teaching online, being able to just connect with anybody in the world. And it's kind of like what Tandem is also all about, like finding that person that you can share not only like nice lessons in learning a language, but also to share memories and experiences and having that sort of connection that you would not have if like the internet it was not a thing. You would have never found out about these people. You would have never like even remotely communicated with anybody in those areas unless you like really committed to it. And now everything is a lot easier, and you really can give everybody their space and the type of memories that I think everybody should have access to. So it's a very beautiful story. But is there anything else? No. Okay.
I thought so.
So you asked, yeah.
It's fine.
If you have some thoughts, you can continue.
No, actually, I just want to continue with the next.
Okay. Then you go.
Okay. So, as a non-native Swedish teacher yourself, like, what do you think is your superpower in understanding your students and also their struggles?
That's a fantastic question, actually. So I think a lot of times people get very obsessed with having a native teacher because they're like, oh, this person was born there. They have been speaking this language from the moment they were born. But also, if you ask my mom to teach you Serbian, she would not be able to. So don't think it works like that. Of course, combination is fantastic if you have ability to work with both. I would say the biggest superpower, biggest strength is just the fact that I was there where they were once. So sometimes when I'm teaching them something and I say, you will learn this, don't worry, they tell me it's easy for you to say. I'm like, no, it's actually not easy for me to say because I was also learning it from zero, from scratch. I did not learn Swedish as a child. I learned it as an adult. So I know how it is to be stressed and to be frustrated, and I know exactly which parts of grammar or pronunciation or vocabulary might be tricky for different students.